What brought me to Faith Church was I was brought up Congregationalist, and but when my kids were young, I was looking for something a little different, and so I started going to different churches. And one of my friends happened to be Methodist, and at the time I was living in Agawam, so I started going to their church over the Methodist Church in Agawam, and I taught Sunday school, and I really liked what the church, what the Methodist Church teaches and and preaches, and I really enjoyed the way things happen at the church. So, but then I ended up moving to Chicopee, and when I moved to Chicopee, I was thinking again, like looking for another church, and then I happened to remember that a lot of my family members come to this church, family members that I don't necessarily see very often. So I thought, well, I'll give this church a try. And the first Sunday that I came, it was um, I think it was in February or March of 1985, and I came in and I liked the service. I liked the people were very friendly, but I really liked teaching Sunday school. So I went down to the Sunday school area and I found who was in charge of the school, the Sunday school superintendent, and I said I would really like to teach Sunday school. And immediately I was accepted into the church. I mean, I started teaching almost right away. I really enjoyed back then. There was quite a few kids in Sunday school. I really enjoyed teaching Sunday school. I did vacation Bible school. My kids were all part of the different groups and young groups in the church, and I just really got to know more of the families of the Sunday school, the parents of the Sunday school people, because at the time Sunday school was the same time as church. So I didn't get a chance to really go into church. So most of the time, if somebody talked about somebody that I really didn't know, we had our little church booklet where I could look at somebody's picture and go, okay, that's who it is. Or if maybe I talked to somebody and didn't really remember their name, I'd go home and I look at the picture and go, okay, so that's who it is. So that was what my beginning part of Faith Church was. But I really got involved with the Sunday school. I mean, the Sunday school picnic. So we just had, it was just a wonderful time. And then as I was going along, we had a women's Bible study taught by Lauren Cullen in the mornings. And at that time, I wasn't. I was available in the morning, so there was quite a good group of us women. And at first, we started off over here, and then a couple times, one of our members had moved to Belchertown, so we went over to her house. And we had all sorts of interesting and different discussions, especially when it came to different religions, because back then the terrorists had taken some people hostage. So we learned a lot. We wanted to know more about the Muslim religion and things, and so we learned a lot about that and realized that there are supremacist groups in every religion, and that necessarily isn't what most Muslims feel. And so that was a very interesting time in my development as a Christian. Uh, then um, then I went to college, and I had so much support from everybody in the church. And after I graduated, they gave me some uniforms or some scrubs, and that was wonderful because back then I didn't have a lot of money. And so it was really nice to get that kind of help, but especially that support as I was going through school because it wasn't easy. But I had lots of support, and then. But working, I ended up working nights, so then I stopped teaching Sunday school because it was a little too much on the weeks that I worked to be able to stay up all night and then teach Sunday school during the day. So for quite a few years, I just went to church, and then Pastor Heather came, and she got me involved in other things. I mean, I got into the trustees, which I really know nothing about buildings, and I realized that they needed a chairperson, so I had this wonderful committee. So I said, sure, I'll be chairperson because the committee had a lot of people with a lot of strengths, and so I had a wonderful time as chairperson of the trustees because I had this great committee. And then I got involved in other things. I got involved in missions. I started to get involved in the church itself with the AST meetings, and as I went along to there was also Bible studies. When Pastor Linda was here, we had a Bible study at my house, And that was really nice because I would cook dinner, we'd have dinner, and then we'd have Bible study. But when Pastor Heather came, we decided that we were going to go to the church because we could get more people involved in the Bible study if it was here at church. But I just became more and more involved, and I went to on. My kids were getting older, so I started to go on rural missions, which I've been. I don't know exactly how many years, but I wouldn't be surprised if I'm hitting like 15. I'm not sure how many, but I loved rural missions. I love the fact of being able to help people. I mean, I didn't do the building because, like I said, that's not my strength, but I do the cooking for the people who build. But I got to know a lot of new people. It wasn't just our church involved in the rural missions. And even though with the pandemic we can't go down this year, I'm really hoping to join the group again next year. Um, there's just so many things that I really love about this church, and that's one of the reasons why I really love being in this church, and that's because of the support that we give each other. And when people have ideas, it's not always thrown out. I mean, people find ways that they can best support what people are doing. I mean, Jill did a wonderful thing with her son Jack with the children and doing meals and over at Jack's school, and I mean there was just so much support with everybody, and so everybody that does different things they have support, especially with missions. We're a small church right now, so there's a lot of things we can't do, but and also too with COVID. I mean, it's just really hard. I decided to do some things so I could go around and see how people were doing, and that was really nice. And then but what I would like to see changed about the church, we have this beautiful building here, and it would be nice if somehow we could offer the building more for community um, thing programs going on, because I mean, there we don't need like big events or anything, but there might be different groups. Like I know we do groups here, but it would be wonderful if we could use our building more for different things that the community needs. And with COVID, it's really kind of hard to know everything that I really would like to change. But I think that that's the one thing that I would really like to change about this church, because I'd really like our church to be more part of the community, not just the people, but also the building.